was seeing a doctor who had me on the Prozac. And one day he switched me to Lexapro, and there was no taper. And that was really like a light switch. It was just like, I don't want to be here anymore. It made sense for me to kill myself. That's the only way I can describe it. I'm doing a lot of laying in bed, crying all day long, not getting up, not being able to leave the house at all, just basically a non-functional person. I was hearing voices. I was definitely seeing things, seeing people in my room that weren't there. I just feel more at peace. And I definitely don't have the extreme highs that I used to, but I certainly don't have the lows. I just feel very, very complete. I was the worst of the worst. And I feel like if I can come back from that, then everyone has hope.
I was diagnosed with major depressive disorder and hospitalized. I decided that there was hope. After about a month, I did experience a dramatic change. I was hopeful about the future and feeling so much better.
I hit a major burnout, had to take a medical leave of absence. I later found out in 2010 I have hypothyroid, Hashimoto's. That was brewing the whole time during this process. I know for a long time I carried shame and felt like there's something broken in me. When I started to reframe this and see, you know what, there's nothing broken about me. There's just a deeper process unfolding in my body.
He was diagnosed with chronic treatment-resistant paranoid schizophrenia, Asperger's, Tourette's, epilepsy from the medication, anxiety and depression. They said he's the worst patient they've ever had in there. He hadn't left the house except to go and get his monthly blood test. He was praying to die every night, and when I woke him up for his meds, he would say, "Am I still here?" All we did was the diet, cleaning out the cupboards slowly. By 4 weeks, he had joined a gym and given up smoking. It's just been totally miraculous. Like, no one can believe it. No one can believe it.
Well, I had my son in 1999, and 7 weeks after I gave birth to him, I found out that I had lupus. I was also diagnosed with antiphospholipid syndrome, which is a blood clotting disorder. I had no idea that my gut was the major problem. That's what that was my aha moment. And he said, you no longer have lupus. And I got in my car and I bawled.
Yeah.
I felt so different after taking all of that out of my diet. I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
I had a history of lifelong depression and anxiety, repressed abuse, thyroid disease, and numbing myself with alcohol and over-the-counter pain relief. I now feel a deep sense of being okay. I simply have to allow myself to feel. It's so refreshing and it's so empowering.
I was originally diagnosed as depressed with insomnia when I was 18 years old. I was reclassified by my first psychiatrist as bipolar. I literally tried every anti-anxiety, bipolar, and sleep medication available to psychiatrists over a 17-year period where I developed an addiction to Ambien to help me with sleep. I was further diagnosed with suffering from fibromyalgia and possibly chronic fatigue syndrome. I've started to fall in love with my life and no longer feel programmed to repeat my past. I'm actually completely healthy and mostly really energized.
I cycled through 10 different medications, ended up on generic Zoloft, an SSRI, and Lamictal, a mood stabilizer. I put on 60 pounds. My mood completely flatlined. I felt like a zombie. I completely lost my sex drive. I completely lost my zest for life. I felt like I completely lost my soul. It was a very scary, very lonely time in my life. Today, I am completely happy. I'm completely healthy. I'm more vibrant than I've ever been. I've lost all the weight. My life is transformed. I am on a new career path. Things are amazing, but it took a lot of work to get there.
8 years ago, after my third child, I really started noticing having pretty severe PMS symptoms. I would get really anxious, really irritable, not enjoying people, not enjoying life. And I've tried everything. I tried Prozac just recently. That was terrible. In the past 5 months, I have been pretty much perfect, and it has made just such an impact on my life.
It was until my third child was born that I got to my breaking point, and I couldn't function anymore, even with medications. I was non-functioning 36-year-old mother of 3, and I couldn't take care of my kids. I couldn't take care of myself. I am not on any medication. I feel amazing, and I will never go back to the lifestyle and the diet that I was on. I am on a natural diet, whole foods, exercising. I'm taking time for myself, and I'm thriving.
I myself suffered from thyroiditis after giving birth to my third child, and this was not treated optimally. I was prescribed several different kinds of antidepressants and other psychiatric medications that did not surprisingly help. I feel as if I do not have the irritable bowel syndrome anymore. But the biggest change that made every other change possible was the shift in my mindset. I am now empowered.
Since I was 11 years old, I've been on and off psychiatric medications, and every time I tried to go off, I would have a horrible episode, and the doctors would tell me, oh, well, this is just what you're like without your medication. I have learned that I can change the future that I have, and I don't have to worry about relying on other people for everything anymore. You have the power within yourself to heal through changing your lifestyle and treating yourself with compassion.
I've always had kind of moments of extreme depression. Those points would be particularly bad around my period. I went to see my doctor. I was like, I'm thinking about killing myself all the time. At the time I was prescribed fluoxetine. I just had really bad reaction to them. I was really unwell, really sick. But the biggest thing is that I don't have these periods from hell anymore, and I don't want to kill myself every single month.
They weren't just presenting as the common migraines. You know, they were abdominal migraines, brain migraines. They mimicked heart attacks. And I said, okay, I'm really going to commit, and I'm really going to do what you told me to do. 2 weeks in, I was out of bed. I saw my doctor earlier this week. He said, I have watched you for the last 2 months in dumbfounded awe. I don't believe what I'm seeing. If I can do this, anybody can do this. And it works so much more than I expected.
Finally had more than a few doctors say, you're not fixable. You're broken. You are treatment-resistant depression, labeled with that, and treatment-resistant anxiety. I didn't know how to get off these drugs. I was on about 8 milligrams a day of Klonopin. She also threw me on lithium, Depakote, all these different drugs. So I was literally just sleeping life. The real me is in deep inside. It's just been smushed for so long. And the real me is more of a social person. I want to be happy. I want to people please, but in a good way. You know, I want to help others. It's helped bring me out and help me realize that, gee, I'm still in there.
In 1992, I got terribly, terribly depressed. Psych meds were just getting really popular then. Prozac was huge. They did not help at all. I had a really severe reaction to the Cipro, and I ended up in bed for about 4 months. And I looked at the bottle and thought, oh my God, what are these drugs doing to me? And that's pretty much the diet I followed. And that, I think, was the reason why I did not have one single day of depression. The littlest thing I feel connected to, it's so amazing.
I was diagnosed about 25 years ago with major depression, generalized anxiety disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, and chronic insomnia. Since then, I've been on at least 10 to 15 different antidepressants. I was hospitalized about 20 years ago for overdosing on all my meds. I laugh now and smile a lot. I sleep like a baby, which has had the most dramatic effect on my life. I truly have all that I need to heal naturally. I look forward to tomorrow. Sure, I'm a work in progress, but now I know that I'm worth it.